Welcome to today's Explainer. We're skipping the basic history lessons today and jumping straight into the century-long saga of one of the most uncompromising brands on the planet. We're tracking the story of speed, luxury, and absolute engineering excellence. That's right, we're talking about Bugatti and how this iconic name just keeps redefining what is mechanically possible. So, what if I told you that a single brand builds both the fastest and the most expensive cars ever made? I know, it sounds like a wild claim, but when you trace this lineage, the transformation is just mind-blowing. We're talking about a company that started over a century ago in a tiny, modest French workshop and somehow morphed into the ultimate creator of modern, record-shattering hypercars. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, The Birth of Art, taking us back to 1909. The visionary behind the whole shebang was Ettore Bugatti, working out of Molsheim, France. He had this unshakable belief that a car should be more than just a machine. It literally had to be a work of art. While most early builders were just praying their cars would start reliably, Ettore demanded absolute perfection. Get this, his engine blocks were hand-scraped so perfectly flat that they didn't even need gaskets to seal them. Absolutely crazy, right? Every single component had to be an uncompromising masterpiece of beauty and innovation. Moving into Section 2, dominating the Golden Age. This takes us to the vibrant racing scene of the 1920s and 30s. Now, when you obsess over lightweight, beautiful design, you don't just end up with a pretty car, you get a ferociously fast one. And you simply can't talk about motorsport history without bringing up the Bugatti Type 35. It was the ultimate symbol of Bugatti's early dominance on the track. By utilizing revolutionary engineering, like a hollow front axle to cut down unsprung weight, and introducing the very first cast alloy wheels, the Type 35 was absolutely ruthless in competition. 2,000. Let that number sink in for a second. Bugatti won over 2,000 races during this era. Thanks to that unbelievable winning streak, cars like the Type 35 cemented their legacy as some of the most successful racing machines in human history. Honestly, they were practically unbeatable. But Bugatti wasn't a one-trick pony. It wasn't just about raw track speed. This same era gave us the legendary Type 57 SC Atlantic. This marks a really fascinating pivot because the brand took all that hardcore performance engineering and applied it to extreme, unimaginable luxury. It was this massive, sweeping statement piece built specifically for the absolute elite of society. Extremely limited production makes the Atlantic one of the rarest classic cars on the planet today. Only a tiny handful were ever actually built. And its jaw-dropping design, well, that was born entirely out of necessity. The original Aerolife prototype was made from highly flammable electron magnesium, which couldn't be welded, so they had to rivet the panels together, creating that iconic external spine. It was such a striking look that they kept it even when the production Atlantic switched over to aluminum. Which brings us to a darker chapter. Section 3. The fall of Bugatti and their post-World War II struggles. After the Second World War, things got incredibly tough. Bugatti faced severe financial struggles. The economic landscape had shifted, market demands of a recovering world were completely different, and it all just proved overwhelming. It got to the devastating point where production completely stopped for decades. For a long time, it looked like the Bugatti name was just destined to be a closed chapter in a history book. But then came an incredible turning point. The 1998 Volkswagen Group revival, which beautifully bridged the gap to the astonishing Veyron launch in 2005. And that brings us to Section 4, the ultimate comeback, starting with that 1998 resurrection. See, the Volkswagen Group didn't just want to build another sports car. They set one highly ambitious, almost ridiculous goal: build the fastest road car in the world. The story goes that VW boss Ferdinand Piëch literally sketched the engine layout on the back of an envelope while riding a train. He demanded an output of 1,000 horsepower. Now keep in mind, this was at a time when even 600 horsepower was considered insanely dangerous for a road-legal vehicle. But in 2005, the Bugatti Veyron actually became reality. The launch of this car was the spectacular realization of Piëch's seemingly impossible dream. Dropping a car with this level of engineering onto public roads completely shocked the automotive world. It instantly became the gold standard, the benchmark by which every single other hypercar would be judged. Let's look at the Veyron's heart, a staggering 8.0-liter W16 engine, paired with 4 massive turbochargers, delivering absolute paradigm-shifting performance. And just to manage the frankly insane amount of heat generated by that massive power plant, they had to strategically stuff 10 separate radiators throughout the car. That is the exact level of uncompromising engineering it takes to fundamentally alter the hypercar landscape forever. We're speeding right along into Section 5, Breaking the Limits, introducing the mighty Bugatti Chiron. 1,500. That is the mind-bending horsepower figure produced by the Bugatti Chiron. Achieving 1,500 horsepower required immense technical innovation, including a massive two-stage turbocharging system that practically eliminates turbo lag. The result is just an unrelenting surge of power that pushes the absolute limits of physics. And, of course, Bugatti being Bugatti, they took that immense power and channeled it into a highly specialized edition, the Chiron Super Sport 300 Plus. The entire purpose of this beast was to hit a specific milestone, a number that automotive engineers previously thought was aerodynamically and mechanically impossible for a production road car to achieve. 300 miles per hour. Under controlled conditions at the Airlessian test track, the Chiron Super Sport 300 Plus actually shattered that barrier. It is a feat of extreme aerodynamic tuning and pure mechanical genius. It permanently etched the car into history and proved, yet again, that Bugatti's core ethos revolves entirely around shattering limitations. So, where do we go from here? Contrasting historic DNA with modern innovation, we see the next massive leap forward embodied in the new Tourbillon. Bugatti is preserving its historic ethos of handcrafted exclusivity, but they're making a huge engineering pivot. They are actually dropping their iconic quad-turbo W16 engine. Instead, they're going with a naturally aspirated V16 paired with advanced hybrid technology. It's a bold move that proves they can adapt to modern performance paradigms without losing an ounce of their prestigious legacy. And that pulls us into our final stretch. Section 6, the Bugatti Legacy, celebrating a century of perfection. For over a century now, Bugatti has stood on four unshakable pillars: speed, luxury, craftsmanship, and engineering. Think about it, from those early hand-scraped engine blocks in 1909 to completely reimagined hybrid V16s today, every single Bugatti is assembled with an obsessive attention to detail. This strictly limited production ensures that each car remains exceptionally rare and highly valuable, bringing Ettore Bugatti's original vision perfectly full circle. Which leaves us with this final thought. After over a century of pushing the limits, what impossible boundaries will the hypercars of tomorrow break next? From a modest workshop in France to completely shattering the 300-mile-per-hour barrier, Bugatti just consistently redefines the word impossible. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.